LeBron James's podcast Rant wasn't a moment of frustration. It was the public launch of his Los Angeles Lakers exit strategy. While most of the basketball world heard a superstar venting about his front office, what was actually happening was a meticulously timed power play, broadcast to the world on his own terms. The common belief is that LeBron, fed up with the losing season, simply spoke his mind. The reality is that every word was a calculated chess move designed to corner the Lakers using his contract, his son's future, and a media empire he controls. We're not just going to tell you what happened, we're going to show you the receipts. We've mapped the timeline, pulled the collective bargaining agreement clauses, and analyzed the salary cap implications. In the next few minutes, we will answer 3 critical questions you should be asking. What exactly did LeBron say that weaponized his own podcast against the Lakers? Why would he choose such a public forum to attack his own front office instead of handling it behind closed doors? And most importantly, how does this public spectacle perfectly set up his contract options for a clean exit from Los Angeles? The entire strategy hinges on something far more powerful than basketball: family. So let's start there. Why is LeBron's public frustration so intrinsically linked to his son, Bronny James? For years, LeBron has openly stated his ultimate career goal is to play in the NBA with his son. He has repeated it in interviews, on social media, and to team executives. It's not a wish, it's a non-negotiable endgame, and the Lakers front office knows this. This is where the public pressure becomes a tactical weapon. As of today, the Lakers have very limited draft capital, especially in the upcoming draft where Bronny is eligible. By publicly signaling his profound disappointment with the front office's inability to build a winner around him, LeBron is simultaneously sending a second, unspoken message. You're failing to secure the one thing I value more than a title. He's creating a public narrative that forces Rob Pelinka's hand. The implication is clear. Either you find a way to acquire the draft assets needed to bring Bronny to Los Angeles, or you're giving me the perfect justification to leave. He's making it the front office's fault, painting them as the organization that not only failed a legend, but also stood in the way of a historic father-son dream. It's a public relations masterclass, turning a personal desire into a test of the organization's competence. If the Lakers fail to secure Bronny, LeBron can walk away looking like a father who had no choice, rather than a player abandoning his team. Now for the most critical piece of the puzzle, the part that turns this from a simple complaint into a contractual kill shot. What is the one clause in LeBron's contract that makes his public rant so devastatingly effective? It all comes down to 2 words: player option. Buried in his 2-year, $99 million extension is a player option for the final season. This single clause strips the Lakers of all control. LeBron James, and only LeBron James, decides if he will be a Laker next year. He holds a deadline over the franchise's head. By the time that deadline arrives, he can choose one of 3 paths, and his podcast rant just amplified the threat level of each one. Path 1. He opts into his contract. This is the trade scenario. By opting in, he becomes an expiring contract, making him easier to trade. His public display of displeasure essentially serves as a "come get me" sign to the rest of the league, letting other GMs know he is available and forcing the Lakers to the negotiating table on his terms. Path 2, he opts out and resigns. This is the leverage play. He can use the threat of leaving to force the Lakers to make the moves he wants, whether it's trading future assets for a star or, as we discussed, securing Bronny. The podcast rant was him firing the first shot, warning the front office that their inaction will have consequences. Path 3, the nuclear option. He opts out and leaves for nothing. The Lakers get 0 in return. This is the ultimate threat. By showing the world how unhappy he is, he makes this possibility feel more real than ever. It tells Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka that if they don't meet his demands, he is fully prepared to walk and leave them with the roster in ruins. Every word on that podcast was designed to empower these 3 options. Of course, a move this calculated doesn't happen in a vacuum. Who is the strategic mind that has executed this playbook before? You have to look no further than Klutch Sports and his agent, Rich Paul. This is not the first time a Klutch client has used public pressure to engineer a move. We saw the exact same blueprint with Anthony Davis in New Orleans. The carefully timed trade demands, the leaks to the media, the public statements of unhappiness, it's a proven strategy for forcing a franchise's hand. LeBron's podcast is simply the next evolution of that playbook. Instead of leaking his displeasure to a reporter, he is now the reporter. He controls the entire narrative from start to finish. This move is straight out of the Klutch Sports manual. Create a public narrative of organizational failure, establish clear leverage through contract status, and then apply maximum pressure until the team either folds or is left with the blame. By using his own platform, LeBron and Klutch have cut out the middleman, ensuring the message is delivered exactly as intended, with no room for misinterpretation. It's a direct signal to the Lakers that they are not just dealing with the player, they are dealing with the powerful, coordinated entity that has a history of winning these standoffs. Let's talk about the calendar, because the timing of this was anything but random. Why launch this media assault right now? Because the NBA trade deadline had just passed, and the Lakers stood pat. LeBron gave the front office a window to improve the roster, and in his view, they failed. The podcast episode dropped at a point of maximum frustration, both for him and for the fan base. The team was underperforming, and the path to contention looked bleak. By speaking out immediately after the deadline, he frames the front office's inaction as the direct cause of his frustration. He is establishing a clear timeline of cause and effect for the public to see. I waited, they did nothing, and now I have to speak out. This timing also serves to isolate the front office. There are no more chances to fix the roster this season. The die is cast. His criticism lands on a front office that has no immediate way to respond with action, making them look powerless and indecisive. It was a strategic strike when the Lakers' defenses were at their lowest, ensuring his words would have the most explosive impact. This brings us to the very medium he used. Why is the podcast itself such a potent weapon in this fight? Because it allows for complete narrative control. In a traditional press conference, a reporter could ask a tough follow-up question. They could challenge his premise or ask if he bears any responsibility for the team's struggles. On his own show, there is no cross-examination. He can lay out his case uninterrupted, framing the situation exactly how he wants the world to see it. It is his court, his rules. He and his co-host can guide the conversation, ensuring it reinforces his desired narrative. It's a fundamental shift in athlete media. Superstars are no longer just participants in the news cycle, they are the creators of it. By building his own platform, LeBron has given himself a direct, unfiltered channel to millions of fans, bypassing any media outlet that might try to add context or an opposing viewpoint. It's the difference between being a witness in a trial and being the judge. He delivered his verdict on the Lakers front office, and he did it from a bench he built himself. Finally, you have to understand that this explosion wasn't a spontaneous event. Is this the first time we've seen friction between LeBron and the Lakers' decision makers? Absolutely not. This is the culmination of years of a strained alliance. We can trace the cracks back to the Russell Westbrook trade, a move LeBron reportedly pushed for, which backfired spectacularly. We can see it in past trade deadlines where the front office was hesitant to part with future first-round picks to improve the team, a point of contention that has been reported for multiple seasons. This podcast rant wasn't a new complaint, it was the public airing of old grievances. It's the result of a fundamental misalignment between a superstar who wants to win at all costs right now and a front office trying to balance short-term contention with long-term viability. This history is crucial because it gives his current complaints credibility. It's not just one bad season, it's a pattern. And by bringing it to light now, he's telling the world and other NBA front offices that the partnership in Los Angeles is broken beyond repair. So to be crystal clear, LeBron James's appearance on his own podcast was not a mistake or a simple vent session. It was a declaration of independence. By leveraging his son's future, weaponizing his player option, and controlling the narrative through his own media channel, he has perfectly engineered a situation where he holds all the power. He has effectively placed the Lakers in checkmate. They must either cater to his every demand or watch him walk away, leaving them to take the fall for losing one of the greatest players of all time. The ultimate insider takeaway is this. In the modern NBA, the most powerful superstars don't just play the game on the court, they play it in the media. in contract negotiations, and in the public square. LeBron didn't just tell the Lakers he was unhappy, he showed the entire league the new blueprint for forcing your way out. This kind of power play is exactly what we break down in our Locker Room Confidential playlist. If you want to understand the secret rules that really run the NBA, that's your essential next chapter. Click here.